collection when I die.
Very good.
Lori's Emma, she'll change like her whole house decor, like her shower curtain, everything.
What I'll do is, I'll call the meeting to order, then I'll have Merlin do a prayer. So I'll call the meeting to order. It is 10:27 a.m. and I apologize for the delay for our technical difficulties. So, Merlin,
na same get you man bishim and do isn't that way get it all to gain and go about gonna give my works we good shot is all kana get me do question bangi to go on a snap a muda me which these who have say me me which you swing ma to gain the kick it all shall not you when Marty too long order bangish move get you man DJ money do Abinung Jawinung Abinung Guidinu Nanamini key and a key card. Homicidane or double on the same ni become money do double on the same me which is same these I will say me which the whole.
very good, Merlin. Thank you. All right, Al, you want to do roll call, please?
Yeah, District 1. Okay, Kathy's on medical. 3.
Here.
And I'm here.
Net, we have a quorum, Miigwech. Next up is review and approve the agenda. I know it's a short agenda today. I think the next meeting is going to be on November.
Mr. Chair, I wanted to see if I could add a couple of agenda items. I did want under executive personnel for legal department, Dove program. Then I want a clarification on Shooting Star Casino security. I've been getting reports of tribal members being harassed up there.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I want to add an executive also, enterprise, the medical marijuana. And I also want to talk a little bit about the college.
All right. Are we good with that? All right, motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Alan, second.
Second.
Second by Ed.
Mr. Chair, before we approve that bill, can I get an executive session also on to discuss Tanya Vold?
Is that the same thing you're talking about?
Or is that already down? I already bring that up. I'm not sure.
All right.
Good to hear.
So do we motion to, who motion to approve?
Ellen did and I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There's no meeting minutes. Calendar review, I know it's a lot of it's Lori brought up was virtual stuff for not only the division directors and managers, but also this is going on, I think. I'll be able to tell them next week.
We got Mayak on.
Oh yeah, Monday and Tuesday, yeah,
Oh, that's Monday and Tuesday.
yeah.
And I know, Mr. Chair, I asked Mary to come today. She had a number of community events she wanted to just mention to the RBC real briefly.
Okay,
And I also asked Lori to put the RBC retreat for the 22nd morning and wherever, I guess, read it. That's. I think that's a good thing for us to continue doing.
Bonjour. My name is Mary Gagnon. So we've been distributing our calendar. We did get it on everyone email, so I hope to see that posted in programs and buildings. Today we have our first community engagement in Pine Point. It'll be at 6 p.m. tonight if any of you would like to join. November 13th and 14th we'll be at the powwow distributing material. November 17th we'll be at the Rice Lake Community Center. November 22nd, we'll be at Waubin at Tappy's. We also have one date for December so far at the Nadawash Community Center. We can set a date today for White Earth also. One of our barriers was we want to go through the community councils for, when we're coming into their community. Some of them we had to wait a minute to, for them to talk or for their meeting. But we've set dates for all of the communities so far. We will be setting dates for expanding out into other communities, so going to Minneapolis, going to the Iron Range, Cass Lake area. Do you have anything you want to add, Jordan?
Expect a lot of door-to-door knocking as well.
Yeah, we've been out in the community, so we've been hanging our calendars up in the communities, M&W, post offices, just about everywhere we can hang a sign, we've hung signs, so we hope to get a lot of community involvement. We've been sharing on, thank you for allowing us to share on the White Earth Nation page. That will reach a lot of people. We've also been sharing from White Earth News, and then our own personal pages also. I think we have documented over 300 or 400 individual meetings that we've had with community members. So we're working hard to get our information out there. Thank you.
Hey, Mary, just a note, I know that the Iron Range Council is meeting on December 9th. Louis asked me to come up there on December 9th, so I'll be up there. So if you want, I can give him a call and see if it's okay for you guys to come up
Perfect.
too. Yeah,
Thank you.
okay, I'll let you know.
Oh, we'll also be December 7th, the Rice Lake Community Center for the Elders Council meeting. So we'll be there also. We'll be providing masks and sanitizer at each of the events. We'll be social distancing, so I know a lot of people are worried about going out and gathering during COVID. But that's our plan, to social distance, provide masks, sanitizer, things like that. So we don't have, I'm not sure if we have the capabilities for our Pine Point meeting tonight, but we would like to get on YouTube also.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. All right. Next up, I guess we have is the joint venture. Glenn, do you want to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this was the reason for the meeting request today, is we have several documents in one package that we're asking the RBC to approve. Those documents were previously sent to the RBC. Now, this is on the transaction for the construction of the NATO Wash Clinic. And this is a joint venture project that the tribe is doing with IHS. So this is a pretty complicated transaction because, number one, it's a joint venture with IHS, a federal agency. And it's our understanding from communication with the Bemidji area office that this is the first joint venture project that IHS is doing with the tribe in the Bemidji area office. So they're still trying to get their feet under them with regard to how this structure will work. The other thing that we're doing is we're taking advantage of a program called New Market Tax Credits for the construction costs that are associated. And the New Market Tax Credits are a way for investment into rural low-income communities, and then the funds that come in for after a period of time, they're forgiven, so we don't have to pay them back. And so we're looking at approximately a $20 million transaction for the construction of the NATO Wash Clinic. 6 million of that will be new market tax credits that will be forgiven. Roughly, these are rough numbers, I want to say, that will be forgiven at the end of that period. And then there's a roughly about a $14 million loan that we'll be taking out, but the loan will be paid back from the rent that IHS pays on the facility that we're constructing. So ultimately, there's not going to be any bottom line cost to White Earth with the way that we've structured this transaction, but it's very complicated. There's like 3 different loans. There's different documents, and then there's what we're asking for today is approval of leases. We have to go through a nonprofit in order to do this, and so we're utilizing the New Spirit LLC, which is under the Rediscovery Center. This is the exact same process that White Earth went through when White Earth acquired the Oshkosh Manitou Center in Bemidji. And so we're utilizing that same process, and it'll be temporary right now, but that's what we're looking at doing. And so for today, what we have before the RBC is we don't have the financing documents yet. We are in the process of negotiating those. We just got the source loan documents on Monday, and we don't even have the new market tax credit documents yet. But what we do need to get done, just because the BIA needs to approve the leases, it's interesting, and I don't know if Shanda wants to talk a little bit about it, but basically we have to lease the premises, the ground, to the nonprofit, then the nonprofit leases it back to the tribe. It's like I said, it's kind of a complicated transaction, but these are the rules in order for us to get that $6 million in forgivable funds that will come in that we won't have to pay back at the end of the process. So I don't know, Shanda, if you want to.
Yeah, I think you did a very good overview. The other thing that I will mention is that I do have our outside counsel that is available if we really want to get into some of the mechanics of this. Like Lenny said, it is extremely complicated. The only thing that I would add beyond what Lenny said at this point is to say that the ground lease, so it's of course it's trust land, so the RBC is going to enter into an agreement with the LLC for a ground lease. And then in turn, there's going to be a leasehold mortgage on that lease. So that's a very important component. And that component, given how important it is, that plays into the timelines. And so essentially the approvals we're requesting today will allow us to in turn submit these documents to the BIA for review and approval, which needs to occur before loan closing, which we're hoping will be on the 15th.
So what we're looking for today is a motion to approve the resolution with which authorizes the documents, the lease documents. And then what we would appreciate is if Chairman Fairbanks could reach out to Alan Fogarty at BIA agency in Bemidji and ask and say, hey, these documents are coming. Can you prioritize your review of these documents?
Couple questions, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
For the Rediscovery Center, I want to bring it to the council's attention. I do know that they have a number of vacancies over there. And I think Lauren Legoux said she's looking to resign. So I know they're looking for people to serve on that Rediscovery Center board. So I think they're a self-appointed board too. So if you have any recommendation, send them over that way.
Shanda's in the process of setting up a meeting with them as well. So, yeah.
And then the other request I have, Mr. Chair, for the financing, that when the meeting happens in December, sounds like, that an executive summary be provided on the financials of it.
Yep.
So that it's laid out in plain language, so that someone reads this, they could say, all right, this is what's going on, and then an executive summary.
And Alan, we have a weekly call with all the parties. There's like 30 people on that weekly call because there's so many different components to this transaction. But what we can do is make sure that RBC members are invited to that call, so you can at least sit in and listen in to, because that's where the negotiating is being taken place on the financing documents now.
Sure. I just kindly request that an executive summary be provided.
All right.
Motion.
Motion by Alan to approve, which one is this one?
The IHS source, well, it's the IHS lease documents.
IHS lease documents. Motion by Alan, second.
Second.
Second by Annie, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Miigwech. And then, Mr. Chairman, we didn't do a consent agenda because we're still processing documents as they're coming in. So we'll have a consent agenda for the regular meeting. That's in about
23rd.
2 weeks, yeah. But there are a couple of things that did come through, and I'll let Shanda handle those that are the next on the agenda.
Yeah, so I would like to provide a very brief update regarding Monoman Goiko Bamadasi, but that being said, I'd be happy to answer additional questions. Again, I'm just in the legal department, but certainly I've done a lot of work on that transaction, so I can answer some basic questions. But What you have in front of you today is a signature from Lisa MacArthur, and then I also have Mike Thompson, signatory. And in short, there is a contract with the architect, and it's essentially an amended contract. There was a inadvertent error with the individual entity. So all this document essentially does is provide some updated information, given the fact that the transaction has been moving forward, and then essentially corrects the name. So.
And this transaction again is for the construction that's ongoing in Monoman for the 24 unit. This is, again, it's a $5 million forgivable loan from Minnesota Housing, that we're still working on closing that transaction, but the RBC had approved early start. And we can see that it's at the facility is actually going to be done. It's ahead of schedule, construction wise, but we're still working on the financing documents with Minnesota Housing right now. So we're just looking for approval on and the funds that there's gap financing, again, that White Earth is providing in order to get the construction going. All of that will be paid back with the proceeds from the financing from Minnesota Housing.
And I think the final thing I'd like to add is that on the 23rd, I will have a number of documents associated with this transaction because we are fast moving to closing, but yeah, honestly, to include, I would hope at the 23rd meeting that we perhaps would even have some loan documents, but I can't confirm that at this time.
Is this the name correct?
Yes.
I'll move, Chair.
Okay, so we're moving on what's.
The architect contract amendment.
Okay, architect contract amendment. Motion by Alan, second.
Second.
Second by Annie, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Miigwech. Anything else?
Yes, I just had one additional,
It's the last thing on the agenda, the land office signatory request.
yeah, so
Yes.
apologize, excuse me. Yeah, so out of the land office, we just have a standard modification document that I'm requesting that the RBC approve today.
What does that mean?
It's an address change on a leads. Yeah.
Recuse, it's my.
Yeah, Annie can't vote on this.
What is that?
She had my address on her housing home site, and she does not own my home site.
Okay. Yeah. Motion by Alan, second.
Yeah.
For the change, second by Raymond, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you.
The vote should record there is one abstention, Amy Jo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, guys. I think we're going into executive now, so. Or is there anything that we have to talk about in the open here?
Well, I just want to say, Miigwech, for you guys coming in, our energy people, because, updates is what we need. And that's what the community needs too, because there is a lot of questions out there. So Miigwech for all your hard work and keep moving forward.
Well, we have the FAQ sheet that we'll be printing today. So we'll be posting that also and getting that out into the community and distributing that tonight at the meeting.
So, I just wanted to say something. I had a public comment. I don't know what happened to it on the Utilities Commission or Utilities Code online. So my concern with this code is the same concern I have with every other board and commission that's been set up, that it's been appointed positions. And we've seen in the past how this can be a problem. Appointed positions on boards and commissions with such delegated authorities. So my advice as a member is that these should be elected positions. We should have it on the ballot like every other seat, like when you go into the county and you vote for different positions. It should be elected positions on a ballot instead of appointed. Make the people the third party integrity.
Wasn't that talked about, that we were gonna just appoint and then have the elections? Because we needed.
I think and Lenny can give us a quick update. I know we're still working on that. I know Blair's working on different parts. So there's, I just, it's a little ways out again. So
It's still, like, we're not at a place yet where like, we're gonna be presenting it to the RBC and saying, here, approve this. I think at the meeting on the 23rd, we're gonna have some recommended revisions. And the recommendation from legal department is gonna be, let's get this out again and then bring it in December for approval. And with the idea, and I think there's even been discussion about maybe, bringing any band members who want to come in to do like a review of it and then go through it and say, okay, this is where we're at and before the RBC actually approves it.
Laura will be available.
Oh, yeah, and Laura's made herself available tonight by Zoom at the meeting. Be able to speak and educate on what she knows about.
Awesome.
And Dennis, were you saying something?
No.
Thank you.
Very good.
Hope to see you tonight.
That's at what time?
6.
6, okay.
Am I good?
Yeah.
On home now.
Oh, I got stuff to do.
Oh.
Do you want me to leave? I saw that legal department was added to the executive section and I'll be happy to leave.
well, we could talk about a couple other things first. We could talk about the Woodard Community College.
Since we're posting this on Facebook.
Yeah, I would probably turn that off, huh?
We're going to executive, we could probably end.